Hi friends, it's Shawl. Are you ready to join me? Grab your favorite beverage. Let's get crafting together. Hi friends, it's Doll from Doll Can Create, and I've started a year-long knitting and spinning project, breaking it down into goals, and I'm hoping you can join me. So what I've done so far is spun up some of this brown that came from Germany. Here is one of the skeins. I'm actually tracking how much or the distance I've been spinning this year, which I've never done before. And this is some from Local Sheep that I spun earlier, and it's a 2-ply that I did on the wheel. So I've been spinning a fair bit, but I'm looking towards a project with my hand spun yarn, and I haven't decided what that's going to be yet. Haven't quite sure. Welcome to my rocking chair knit and chat for today. It's the 1st of March. We're moving into that messy time of the year here where it snows, it rains, it sleets, it's muddy, it's dry, it's everything in between. And it's exciting because we're coming into a rebirth time and a recycling time, which is just a wonderful, wonderful time. I have my notes here so I don't forget what I'm going to say, but this is a very special challenge. It connects with my 100-mile life journey challenge, which I've talked about quite a bit recently here on YouTube and on my blog, and I'm hoping that you can follow along with that. If it sounds exciting, maybe you'd like to join me for a year of mindful local crafting. Now, I say local, and yet I'm spinning this wonderful brown from Germany that was gifted to me. So that's different. It was gifted. I'm going to use it. It's spinning up beautifully. It's a blend of different fibers from a local farm. So I'm really excited about finishing that. There'll be about 80 grams by the time I'm done. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to use it for or what I'm going to use it with. Kind of hard to say, isn't it? So why would it be important to set a knitting and spinning goal? Well, if I don't have a goal, if I don't have a plan, then I just jump from thing to thing and things don't get done. Things don't get done. It's like you're wishing the dishes would get done, but you haven't got a plan for when you're going to do them, so they don't get done, right? Well, it's the same thing with our crafting sometimes, is that we get caught up in the enjoyment of it, which is a good thing. but maybe we would really like to see 1 or 2 finished objects by the time we're done. So that's part of it too. So what do you think? Should I be doing scarves, socks? I don't have enough. Hold on. Just creating some quiet time here. Scarves, sweaters, socks. I don't know. I really don't know. I have a lot of the local wool that can still be processed and spun. And there's enough there, I believe, for a sweater. I believe so. And I'm working on some from the hand dyed that I did. And in the process of chain plying that. So I'll show you a little bit of that here in a minute. But, knitting is and can be such a rewarding craft. It can be mindless sometimes, depending on the pattern that you're working with. Now, the pattern that I was working with, that's a shawl that I'm working with right now. It wasn't hand spun yarn, but it was hand dyed by me. And it's a pattern that Tracy put out. It's a shawl, and I'll put a link to that pattern on Ravelry for you, because it's really easy and it's really pretty, but I do have to pay attention to kind of where I am. So it's not something I can just pick up and not track my rows. Where a sock, I can generally get away with that. So I'm not too sure where I'm going with that. I do have a sweater on the needle, so part of my goal will be to finish that sweater. Because if I don't get it moving along soon, I'm going to have to put it away and leave it till another time. And I may have to do that. Like sometimes we just have to put things aside, don't we? So do you have your favorite beverage handy? This is an Orange G0, which I like a lot. It reminds me of orange soda without the bubbles. Haven't found a 100-mile replacement for it, although I'm still searching. So we'll have to see how that goes. But why 100-mile? Why 100-mile crafting? Well, it's to reinforce the sustainable living and sustainable farming practices. Sheep replenish the earth with their replenishments. Trying to find a nice way to put that. Their fiber can be used in hand-spun, hand-knit products or others. Their leftover pieces of their coats can be used for insulation in some areas, can be used for stuffing. There's a lot of uses for sheep wool. And it is sustainable. It is organic, and it goes back to the earth. So that's one of the reasons I want to do that. And I do want to support our local people. So whether you want to knit your very first sweater from your own hand spun, or challenge yourself to use only regionally sourced wool, set some goals. Keep yourself on track. Now, I do have my journals. I'm not going to show you one today, but I have a number of journals, and I will be tracking what I'm doing in my journals and writing it down. When you write things down, you have a sense of progress that can motivate you, can move you forward. But let's define the goals, okay? So what do I want to do in my knitting goals? Well, I want to go back to knitting a pair of socks a month. I don't have any hand spun sock yarn right now, but I do have a lot of hand dyed sock yarn in stock. And if you're interested in seeing some of that and seeing some of my colorways, let me know and I can show you. I'm putting different ones up on my blog as well. As far as spinning, I'm going to continue spinning this local wool until I get it done, because I've told myself I'm not going back to her farm until I'm almost run out. So I don't know when that's going to be, but That's the goal. And I may go to different producers to get something. Like I know there are alpaca farms around here that I'd like to see. There's someone who has Angora fibers for sale as well. So start small. Here's my tip for you. Start small. Spin, if you're new to spinning especially, spin for a hat or a scarf before committing to a sweater. Because if you can finish something quickly, then it gives you motivation to do more. Wouldn't you agree with that? Definitely. Start small. Put it in your calendar. This is what I would like to do. Put in a milestone, a spinning milestone. I would like to spin 3 bobbins this week. I would like to ply 2 bobbins this week. Whatever it is, but write it down. Get those goals written down, because you know if you don't write them down, they're just a dream or a wish. But try to stay on track. I like to break my year into seasonal goals sometimes. So in winter, I like those cozy accessories. I like the warm hats and the scarves and the mittens, and I like to work on my wool prep. But in the spring, I like to look at different fibers and see what I can come up with and spin something for socks, which is kind of my next goal. In the summer, it's great for lightweight spinning. Spin some lace weight. Maybe do some natural dyeing with wool. And that's definitely on my list. Fall time, bigger projects. Spin a sweater quantity and knit a hand-spun garment. So when we come to the summer, we have the Tour de Fleece, which coincides with the Tour de France. And I can, at that point, make a goal to spin a sweater quantity of yarn. I'm on holidays in July. There's no reason I couldn't do that. So those are kind of where I'm going. Yeah, so I'm going to continue to source local fibers as I can. I'm hoping to drop in on a couple of local farms again and see what they're doing, talking with the shepherds, focusing on local, which also includes the local fiber festivals. And there's one coming up in March. I can't remember what it's called. The Fibre Forge is having a small sale coming up in like 3 weeks. So I'm hoping to attend that. And I will be searching for more small farms that sell raw fleece or roving, whichever. And looking at the co-ops and the mills nearby. So where I purchased my BFL Merino blend wool, it's pre-washed, she also has a mini mill there. So she creates her rovings as well. And I like the idea of supporting the local market. So supporting the local farmers, the shepherds. So here's the challenge. Can I or can you knit an entire project with the fiber from this area, from the 100 miles? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Also, in my journal, I like to really keep track of how much I'm spinning, the weight and the twist of the yarn, and how my hand spun knits up in projects. So over the next few months, you're going to see bits and pieces of this. I'll be sharing it on social media. I will be sharing it here on YouTube each week as I do my rocking chair, knit, spin, and chat. And if you hold on for a second, I'm going to move over to my wheel. So I'm back at my babe, because that's what kind of a wheel this is. It's looking a little forlorn. It has been well used, and I didn't buy it new. It's supposed to be a double treadle, but the double treadle never worked for me. And you can see here, I'm doing a chain ply. Generally, it's pretty quiet. Every once in a while, it squeaks like crazy. You can see my pink socks. I didn't spin for those socks, but I did knit them myself. I could use this for socks, but I may have more than enough for a pair of socks. I would love to get your ideas on what you think I should do with it, what I could do with it. I'm looking at different scarves, but I have a lot of scarves. And if I'm just spinning and knitting for myself, I want something to be useful for me, right? I don't want to just do something and throw it in a bag somewhere. I have some items pre-done that I would put out in a craft sale, but we're not doing one at the church this year. I may have to look for other places to sell my wares. But generally speaking, unless you go to a high-end sale, people are not willing to put the high-end dollars. When you look at the amount of time it takes to spin and to knit, to work with your fiber, I mean, it's not a way to make a living, that's for sure. But I'll show you, if you haven't seen the earlier videos, that's coming along really well. Hold on for a second. So here is the fiber that I spun. So what I have going on to my bobbin right now is about 100 grams of 3-ply. This is another 100 grams. So I'll have 200 grams of this wonderful BFL merino. And this was dyed with onion skins and avocado pits. I have a friend at church who brings me her avocado skins and pits when she's done with them. And then I pop them in a pot with the onion skins, and this is the color I've been getting so far. So that gives you an idea of what I'm working with. So there we have it. You've seen a tiny bit of knitting today, not very much. I've talked more than I've actually used my hands. You can see the kitchen behind me here. But I hope you enjoyed watching me spin a little bit, and that there's been some information here that has been inspiring to you. I'm just going to check my notes one more time. Are you ready to join me and to commit to a year of knitting and or spinning or crafting of any kind? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to know, what's your first project? What's the project that's on your list to start on March 1st? I guess I could have started this in January, but I'm starting it now. So March 1st, what's your first project? And where will you source your fiber? Or do you already have the fiber in stock? Don't forget, if you like these videos, please subscribe, like, and join me on my journey. You know how it is with YouTube. I will be posting to my blog as well, where I post these videos with somewhat of a transcript and a blog post and other blog posts as well as we move along. But all in all, I hope you have a wonderful time spinning and knitting and crafting to your heart's delight. Let's make this year one filled with such joy with the craft that we do. 100-mile or not, spinning, knitting, crocheting, paper piecing, sewing, whatever it is you do, gardening, do it with your full heart and find joy in it. Till later, God bless. Bye for now. God bless.